about the social stigma of seeing a therapist and why society thinks that by you seeing a therapist, there's something wrong with you, you're not normal, and yada yada yada. So, let me begin by discussing the social stigma of seeing a therapist. As we've seen in popular culture, the general therapist is just sitting there with their thumb stuck up their ass, going, So how does that make you feel? Completely void of emotion. Just professional. Now, I'm gonna make a separate video discussing the 4 different types of psychotherapies that are used. Some are still used today, some more than others. And then, with that being said, I'll then branch off into their respective categories, their founders, and all that good jazz. That'll be on our next discussion. So, seeing a therapist, like I said, is met with social stigma. It's meant that you should be demonized for seeing a therapist because that's not normal. You should be able to handle your own damn problems. You shouldn't have to pay $500 up the ass to go see a therapist. But if that therapist is the one that's keeping you from killing yourself, will you still do it? I would. If seeing a therapist meant that I could live, I'd do it. If there's something that I personally cannot control myself, I've asked my friends and they can't help me. And their support is just meaningless to me. I've asked my parents and it's nothing. I asked my school and there's nothing. Then you come to your last freaking choice. Seeing a therapist. Because we all, when we're dealing with shit, the first people we're talking to is our friends. If we do not see closure in our friends, we then talk to our family. If we don't see closure in our family, we then go talk to our school. If our school can't do shit for us, we go see a therapist. And we just suck it up and get to it. Which brings me to my next point. The mass media portrays therapy as a closed-off, isolated room where there's no real interaction between the client and the therapist. It's just the client in most scenarios just rambling off whatever and the therapist sitting there with a expressionless face writing down everything that's being said. This then brings me to my short experience with therapy. I went to therapy strictly to help me with my severe test anxiety. I don't have it as much as I did in the past, but when I had it, it was pretty fucking bad. I could barely take a test without second guessing every single one of my questions to the point where it was overwhelming. To the point where I literally broke down during a final. Sucks ass. So I went to therapy. I was scared shitless. I was scared sitting in the waiting room because I didn't know what the therapist was going to say. I didn't know if she was going to say I was a total whack job or something, or if I was the only person suffering from this. What we all say to ourselves. But what actually happened is I told her what was the problem. I told her that I have severe test anxiety, and anytime I see a test, I just freak out. I have pretty much close to a panic attack during tests. So she gave me tips. She said you could do meditation, or you can do this other trick that I've helped with my other clients who've also had test anxiety, like me, but even worse to me. So she decided that I have to write it all out. Just write it out. right? All my fears, all my anxieties about tests, and why I think it's bad. Why I think tests are just complete nonsense. We shouldn't have them because they're causing too much stress on our society, on our youth, on our future leaders. So she read them out aloud. And she told me, what would you say if I could lessen your test anxiety? I said, if you could, that would be great. I would be absolutely grateful. But she, okay. So, I want you to listen to this music. Since I'm still into playing my violin and piano, and I've played them since I was 4 years old. So she said, listen to this mixture of classical and meditation music whenever you get stressed. Try it at home. If it works, come back and talk to me. So I tried it out for a week. First day, didn't do anything. No, but I kept at it because I was like, I gotta give it a try. I mean, it's supposed to be good for me. I mean, in the long run, I looked at it. This is for my benefit and my benefit alone. This is not my parents' benefit. This is not my family's benefit. This is my benefit. This will help me as I continue with school. So I went in after 2 weeks, after listening to the meditation music, and I already started to feel less anxiety. She then said, come back after a few months. Keep doing the same thing you're doing. Come back after a few months. And then we'll reassess. And I kept doing it, and a few months went by, and almost all my anxiety was gone. All the stress, all the fear I had built up, gone. Poof. Like it wasn't even there. It really confused me. So I then went back in. She asked me how I was doing. I said, I'm doing a lot better. You are a miracle worker. And she said, no, I just used a few principles from psychotherapy. And I said, wow. If just those few principles can help me stop being anxious over tests, they can help anyone that's in need. So here is my stance on seeing a therapist. I personally believe seeing a therapist, no matter how small the issue you think it is, no matter how inconsistent it is in your life, if it's something that's personally bothering you and none of your social circles or your family or your teachers can help you with it, see a damn therapist. Don't puss out and say, nobody sees a therapist. Just do it. Honestly, I went in there going, therapy's not going to help me. It's not like I'm going to learn anything. Totally was wrong. Totally changed my mind. Totally blew my brains out of my skull. Because what a therapist is going to do for you is they're going to base whatever your problem is, they're going to help you overcome it with your individual interests. So I give you this final question. If you or someone you know really needs help, they've exhausted all other options, would you invite them to go to therapy? Would you invite them to maybe come with you to therapy if you're scared of going alone? You can do that too. Therapy isn't something to be scared of. Therapy is something there to help you. If you or your friend needs help, no matter what the issue is, see a therapist. Not only will it change your life, but it will change your mind. You'll start to understand things that you thought were foreign. And know truly will be grateful in the end.